how we're getting uh, how we're getting into from the conference to the training, so where everyone understands what's going on. Vicki, I guess before I do that, I should make sure we acknowledge everybody that's here. If you want to, because we've got several that are SBDC folks.
Okay. SBD folks, Lizette, is it Marquin from Texas? Great. And Jill from Mississippi, Dana Fisher from Texas, Ethan from Oklahoma. And then innovators, Juan from Texas and Scott from here in Kansas and Wichita, right, Scott?
Correct.
And Anne Dupuy from Wichita. So welcome. Thank you, everyone.
So I was talking to Bijo in Texas yesterday, and you know we're going through a little bit of a metamorphosis with our program. There's trends happening, and you've heard me talk about it. At least we're witnessing a slowing of innovators and the things that are happening. But one of the things that the gentleman who has probably impacted our program as much as anyone, Jesse Bowden, I was talking to him about the numbers, and he said it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And for Jesse to say that, I thought that's pretty powerful, because Jesse, we have referred through Brett Shearinghausen, who is no longer with us, but Brett was the one who introduced us to Jesse, and I didn't even realize it for quite a while because we were so busy. Well, Jesse was busy helping with SBIR, especially STTR opportunities, and then venture capital and contracting. I asked one of our clients, and he said about him, and he said he knows more about contracting in the DoD than any single person I've met. And so I thought that was quite a compliment. Well, for Jesse to tell us that it's about the quality, not the quantity. And so first of all, I want to apologize to you folks, because I have been so wrapped up in trying to get our numbers to a certain point where we've been in the past. But the cool thing is, one thing we've all agreed on that have been in this program for a while, this year we have more opportunities for our innovators now than we've ever had before. And I'm going to give you an example. And this is something you don't have to respond to right now, but I'd like your response later. One of our clients contacted me and said, Alan, I'm going to have some money to spend. I won't reveal the amount, but it's more than I have in my bank account. And he said, I would like to come to Encountering Innovation and sit in on pitches. And he is a client of ours, and he has pitched in 2018. And I thought, I don't know of a better testimony than a former Encountering Innovation client succeeding in saying, I've got some money to spend and I'd like to come and invest it in the innovators. And I thought, how cool is that? Now I went by the rules and I said, well, so there's Public Bluffs. You can look at Public Bluffs and you can look at titles, and then you can tell us what you see, what you're interested in. And then we can reach out to those clients and see if they would like you to sit in on the pitch. So I've not talked to, Vicki's hearing this for the first time. So I've not spoken to any of our team about it, and I haven't spoken to Pittsburgh State. But I believe I know one way or another, we'll have him involved. He'll be able to come. He's spoken to our conference in the past, but I think that's a cool testimony. Anyway, that's an example of the opportunities we're talking about. We're 7 years old this year, and there are things that are happening that are good for us as support group, our various business advisors and tech advisors. We've got more opportunity, more tools are coming about, and we're learning more. We've got folks that understand more of the program. So I'm encouraging you, if you're wavering or if you're wondering, should I really be doing this? This is a good program, and there are ways to succeed in it. So anyway, with that overarching pitch, I will share my screen and we'll jump right into this. I'm going to do like I always do with you, is remind you that when you go to Encountering Innovation, especially if you're talking to others, you can refer them to the Encountering Innovation page. It's your toolbox. If you're confused about your toolbox, then let us know, because this is supposed to be something you can use moving forward. Knowing that we keep referring others to the Bluffs, we are working on the Bluffs, and we're going to improve the ability to search Bluffs and do things with it. You can click in the middle, and that takes you to the conference page, or in this case, you can ignore it and you can go to training and support and bypass going through the conference page. This page will always be up. So this information, what we're doing today, that's here in the training portion. So we've been through general overview, quad chart, and Bluff. Those are on the conference page referred to, right, Vicki? Is that where we're leaving those? Okay.
Right.
So
the recordings?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're scroll down there at the bottom.
Oh, here? Oh, okay, there we go. So we might want to ask her if she wants to put an arrow or something for more. I've done this more than once, and I think some of the others have said that to me, just knowing that it continues. That's hard. I don't notice, we should notice over here on the side where that's so small. Anyway, so everything we're doing, training with you guys, are over here. So if you talk to someone, SBDC folks, and they're worried about catching up, they can catch up fairly quickly by watching these and the Q&A, or they can just go through these. You can walk them through them however you want to, because I know this year we're going to have some latecomers, and we're going to have to try to speed through to the conference. That doesn't mean that they should be any less prepared. Okay.
And we're still working on the matchmaking training page. So the information that we're wanting to put or need to isn't out there yet. We've been working with our marketing person to get those updated and done. So be patient with that one.
Rick's just started working, joining us again, and he's talking to the primes, and so we're working on trying to get a number of local primes in the Kansas City area to show up in addition to what we've had in the past. So more to come there. All right, with that in mind, then we're going to go to the information paper, and you should have your information. Just a second, I got to see which way Bill's coming in. He's not. I think this is right. Nope. Sorry, just a second.
Information page. This is a 3-page chance to tell about your technologies, capabilities, and value, adding some graphics and some more detail that you really put right. The information paper is based on the flow of your completed quad chart draft that we're going to send you, at least is, and it's got more opportunity to put some details in it. I'll show you what to expect when you get that draft in just a little while. We're going to compare it to a fictitious quad chart. But first, let's talk about some general instructions. This is going to be a 3-page document maximum. If it's over 3 pages, if we are the ones evaluating here in Encountering Innovation, we'll actually reject it, send it back. The Tech Scouts want it to be short. I I've seen people send in 10-page information papers and say, hey, is this good enough? And it's like, no, it's not. Because the Tech Scouts require that. They will get annoyed with us and with the company if they send that in when they know what they were told. Page numbers at the bottom and centered. There's a number of different formatting settings that are already in the paper. We just ask you to just leave them alone. Then it will be formatted similar to all the other papers and what the Tech Scouts are expecting. I know you may find it a little awkward, but please do that. And don't be shrinking the fonts down to try and cram more and more information in. Just stay within the guidelines you have. One of the things that the Tech Scouts say all the time to us is we want it in 8th grade English. Yes, 8th grade English. The reason why is because they may not be experts on what you're talking about. They probably aren't. They're smart people. They've been sitting sometimes for several days in meetings, and you don't want to make them have to fight for gathering the information that they need to know what to do with this. Just make it easy. Explain it in good, simple English. Use that in your information paper, because the person that they're sending it on to will probably not be an expert, and they are being asked to look at what they're getting sent in addition to their daily jobs. So you just want to make it easy. If there's intellectual property, it should be marked on both the paper's headers and footers. This is per the Tech Scouts request. That will already be included on the draft with your company name in the header and footer. So just assume that. Don't put anything classified into whatever you submit, because you never know where it could end up. So obviously you don't want classified material in there. And another point, this is kind of a simple point, but don't use hyperlinks, because most of the people in the government are working with email accounts that have hyperlinks stripped out of them. So what you'll end up with is missing hyperlinks. So what you would do instead was copy the hyperlink, put it in text, maybe put it in parentheses or something. You can even color it, but don't let it be an actual hyperlink. Just you can make a comment beside it, copy this hyperlink, and something like that. The information paper, you can have diagrams in it, pictures as needed to support what you're trying to get across. In fact, we really encourage it. That's what makes it stand out. Your technology stand out from other people's. And who wants to just look at a whole bunch of technologies that are all just in written form? And then at the bottom, you're going to find 2 signature lines for communication with the Tech Scouts. One of them is the single point of contact. That's the person that's responsible to gather the information and communicate it with the Tech Scouts. And the other one is the authorized point of contact, as we've talked about before. That's the company authorization person. And we really want to do that. In many cases, in small businesses, it's the same person. You may be the only person in your company. That's perfectly fine. But don't just delete one side and say, hey, I'm the same person, so I just threw that other line off. Please go ahead and sign it twice if that's what you need. And as you make socialization connections, as a Tech Scout passes your information on to somebody else, that may change. They may want to talk to a technical lead, or they might want to talk to somebody in accounting or other things and learn more about your company. That's fine, but for now at least, with the Tech Scouts, start out with a single point of contact. And then again, just remember, this is a technology paper. This is not a sales paper. So you talk about the great things about your product, but you don't need to put in all kinds of marketing information. You can even put, right now we're anticipating we're going to be at a price point of something like this for, hundreds of sales or something like that. That's fine. But remember, they don't have check writing abilities. They may be sending it to somebody that eventually will, but they're going to be contacting you for more information before they just get out their checkbook. So make it more informational and less arm twisting. Now, what we're going to do is we're gonna actually look at the quad chart itself, which you should already have filled out, but I'll start out with a fictitious company here. And the information on here is kind of silly. Don't need to worry about that. I wanted to show you how it maps, because that's going to be important to you. So we get this company, and we have this basic information about the company. So it starts out here, the different quadrant 1 in the top left, quadrant 2 is how I describe them, is in the bottom left, and then 3 top right, and quadrant 4 bottom right. So we're going to take this information now, and we're going to bring it over into the information paper draft. And what we're going to send you is actually a draft based on your original application. So remember, this is not going to be the same information that you would want to have in it when you actually start editing. So you're going to take your quad chart and then cut and paste the values that you have now in your final version and bring them across. So let's take a look at that. And over here on the right-hand side, in parentheses in bold red, I'm actually telling you where this information comes from. So the BLUF statement, which we had you work on the quad chart, and the BLUF statement, that BLUF statement now goes word for word into this information paper. And you're going to use it again in the point of contact document we'll talk about in a future video. So we start out putting the BLUF statement in, and then down here, this technology category, if the conference that we're supporting that you're involved in actually will use that category, that would be in quadrant 3 on the top right. You can compare with the documents that we're going to supply with this. You'll be able to look at this and the quad chart to compare. Technology readiness level comes from the top of actually quadrant 4, the bottom right. It actually comes from the quadrant 4, bottom right. And if you want to stick a graphic in here, this is a great place for a graphic right up high. We'd ask you just go ahead and put the BLUF in those different categories right at the very beginning, and then go ahead and put more information in, and especially something that would be very descriptive. Now we're going to go back to here. Now we're going to go on to a technology explanation and status. So you're going to see that first sentence or two that came off the quadrant 1. That is going to be what's going to be placed in this section. And by the way, I'm telling you all this. This will start you out with a good draft. Feel free to take it away from here. We'd ask that you would continue to keep the headings that are there, because the Tech Scouts really like that consistency so they can find things really fast. They know what to expect and where to expect it. But within there, feel free to be creative. And you've already decided in your quad chart what you think is most important. Now you want to talk about what's most important, but you don't have to leave it. You can bullet list it if you want, but I would really encourage you to take the chance to put it in paragraph form, be a little more descriptive, a little more creative with it, and explain it better. Don't feel like you have to stick to exactly the way this is laid out here just in bullets. Just be creative within the sections. So we're down here at innovation capabilities. That's the bullet point list that's at the end of quadrant 1. This is basically what the technology will do in general, and what makes it unique, what makes it stand out. Then we're going to go on down to the next section, which is demonstrated results. This section is actually going to be from quadrant 2 underneath that. This is the section where we talk about what's already been demonstrated, what's already been done, and a little bit about the company if you want to add that. So we're going to bring that in here. Next section is that innovation and capabilities. This is actually, oh, wait a minute, I missed a section here. The next section is explanation of the top technology and this readiness level. This is going to be that sentence that's underneath the TRL in quadrant 4. That's what you would want to bring across here to start the second version of your draft based off of our first one. Then the scaling ability and section, bring that information across, and then time to market with and without financial assistance. So this will give you an opportunity to come very close to the key points that you want to make in your paper, and then start out from that point and be creative from there. And then, of course, at the very bottom of the paper, you'll see the single POC for all communications, and then the company authorization POC. So this is the 2 signatures you need here. And like I say, they may be the same person, they may not be the same person, but the person that signs on the left is the person that we want to be the single point of contact. And then you sign this, and you can just PDF this file and send it back. Where that's normally what the tech scouts want, except for the point of contact document. That should be a Word document, because they may be cutting and pasting some of the contacts that you put in there in order to refer to them and send things to them. So go ahead and print this and sign it, and then PDF it and send it back.
Okay, any questions? I know we had a couple of people come in a little late, so I'm not sure you caught everything from the beginning. No comments? No questions? So I think the main thing to understand about the information paper, it is a narrative, and it's to what's the word? Complement. It should complement your quad chart to where it's something that you can give a little. You don't want to change the message, but you want to enhance what you've said, what you've written in the quad chart. What the Tech Scouts tell us is that the training that they go through and that others go through, the one common training across in tech transfer is the quad chart. And so the information paper, and I've told this to the other groups, so you may have all heard this, but we wanted to eliminate the information paper if we could, if it was really not necessary. And to our surprise, they actually said it really does help. What they see on the quad chart is kind of the down and dirty bullets, boom, 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 the different things about what you're doing, but that the information paper enhances that information. It's still a short read, and it's still a 6th to 8th grade level read. I'm actually reading, I'm going to tell on myself, I'm reading a document right now that we have to be prepared for a strategic planning for tomorrow. I've actually, so I've got it on a tablet, and I've got my phone beside it, because I'm sitting there, I'm running into words, and I'm assuming what that means, but I'm not sure. So I'm having to go pick up the dictionary on my phone and double check words. That's too much pain. And so if you need to write at that level and it makes you feel better, go ahead. But you will eliminate opportunities. I promise you. And I mean that sincerely. When Brett Sheringhausen told us from the start, right at a 6th to 8th grade level, he was very serious about that. That's not being funny or facetious. He really means it. So as you read this, for you tech coaches, those with the SBDC, when you're reading these, don't be proud. If you don't understand something, you need to tell them, I didn't get it. or if it's confusing, you need to tell them that's confusing to me. That your innovators need to know if it's not making sense. You are part of the team, and so you've got to tell them when you don't understand something. And so for you innovators, I realize you're in the kitchen, you're cooking this innovation, but you've got to come back out of the kitchen and put it on the menu in a way that people want to buy it. How's that? That's a brand new analogy, just come out. But that's what you've got to do. You've got to make this appetizing to follow that. But we need to get what you're talking about, and those are the benefits. Don't fall into the trap of how. I know that's what you're talking about, and that's what you really want to talk about is how you made it happen. But you got to stay out of that. It's about the benefits. So anyway, with that in mind, that's the only thing I wanted to dovetail. I don't think there's anything else that Bill
I have
said.
a comment, Alan.
Yeah,
I have a comment. And I haven't said anything to Alan either, but on this, but in the past, Bill has always processed and created the draft documents from the application. I'm doing that this year. And to piggyback on what Alan is saying, I'm actually seeing every document as it progresses from one to the next and the information. And at first I kept thinking, boy, this is really redundant. It's the same information, just in a different place. But as Alan just said, you're increasing, or you're giving a little bit more each time. It's still succinct, but it's a little bit more, and it gives you that opportunity to progress through the whole process. And it makes sense now, each of those documents and the purpose that they serve and the information that you put on them. So it's been really educational for me to go through this part of the process that I hadn't really done before.
thanks. That's to dovetail on what Vicki just said. As I was reading earlier this other document I'm talking about, and I said it reminds me of my GMAT test when we went into the comprehension section, whatever, I forgot what they call it, reading and comprehension. When they did it, this was in Dallas, and across from the Dallas Naval Air Station, and they were having an air show. And so I got into that section, and you're timed and you got to focus. And the building was shaking. We're on this little bitty lake, and so they have what looks like an aircraft carrier runway out into the water, and they're taking off, and then they're coming up over our building, and I'm trying my best to focus, and I thought, you cannot, and I remember fussing at myself going, you cannot lose focus. But the people that you're going to send this to can. They don't have to read your paper. They don't have to score it. They don't have to give you any results. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but that's the truth. And I think the best thing we, as our Encountering Innovation team, have done is try to remind you of the human frailty, the human element that you're going through in innovation tech transfer. There are real human beings, and they really get tired. I've watched the Tech Scouts when they were pushed too hard in certain programs, and I remember some of the choice words they used as they're frying, as they're going, I'm worn out. Not that you need to be entertaining, but you need to be engaging. So your papers need to be engaging, just as your quad chart is, in a way, like you said, it's not a sales pitch, and it's not, but it is information. Anyway, that's enough of that. I think this is about how far we got last time. Hopefully this works. And yes.
I would just like to share, hopefully for the benefit of all the SBDC people working, and you're trying to attract more innovators, I understand. And that is the real value of going through this whole process from the very start. And even the word, the exact number of words. So maybe just getting it down to that exact number really pushes you to refine what you're trying to say. And then the real, I call it, it's more than clever. It's really genius the way you all take that information with the number of words and change around the fonts, and then boom, put it into that whole template, like for the poster board and the capability statement and really everything. Because when you go through that and then you see how they come out, that is so useful. I have certainly used mine in other situations where I had it ready to go, and people actually said, wow, you've got everything here, like all the codes. This is incredible. It's all in one place. And it's really worth that process. And I believe the innovator would spend a lot of money to try to take it to graphic design and get that kind of packet that's useful. So maybe make that a selling point. And I would even write a testimonial to that whole process. It's valuable even for me to update it year to year and see what's, it's a lot of use even in that too.
Thank you, Ann. That's very beneficial. I agree with you. I think we kind of get used to what we're doing, and you're right. I keep wanting to reiterate the fact that there's more opportunities. We're seeing we've matured as a program enough that certain people are seeing things. I don't know what that means yet, because I don't know how they're going to engage and how they're going to pull your innovation up. But our job is to assess and prepare you, good or bad, whether it's something you want to hear or not. Your tech coaches, your SBDC folks, are not there to make you feel better. Their job is to help you become better with your presentation and your business. We had someone, this is the time of year where the conversations just kind of get caught up in the head. I can't sometimes not remember who needs credit for this. But one of the conversations we had recently was in reviewing the businesses, and they were talking about those that qualify. I forgot what word they used, and I said, and what would that be? And they said, these are what the small businesses that are good at business. And so your business advisors, your SBDC folks, are there for that. They're looking at cash when you're preparing cash flows, looking at where your financial statement, where you are right now, all of that. And so that's what they're there for, is to prepare you at some point as you move forward and someone gives you an opportunity. You're going to be reviewed. They're going to want to know what level you are at. And so that's part of your sharpening as you move forward. At the level of where we are with the pitch with the DoD, it's a very transparent conversation. You want to put your best foot forward, but you want to put your very real foot forward. If they ask you questions that you don't have the answer to, that you should have the answer to, you need to say that. As soon as you start trying to, as we say in the Midwest, buffalo somebody, they're going to know exactly what you're doing. And as soon as you do that, when that starts to happen, they stop listening, because they're going, okay, if you're going to do that, then I'm checking out. So don't do that. Say, that's a great question, and I wish I had the answer. I don't, but I'll get back to you. And that's the kind of stuff that happens that we put in the scribe notes, to where as you move forward in the pitch, from the pitch room to the red room, that's the kind of stuff that's going to happen. They want you to redo this photograph. They want you to put this title. They want you to add this information. You said a few months. They said change that to the exact number of months. That type of thing. Whatever those pieces of advice are, is because they're going to take your information, and as they refer them to someone else, they are now standing up for you and saying, this is worthy of your 5 or 10 minutes to review this, because I think you should. And so our job is to help you to get there. Anyway, that's basically it. Thank you, Ann. I appreciate that. We're looking forward to everyone as what you're doing. And as Vicky's saying, our next major phase that you haven't been through will be the matchmaking. And so we'll be working on that as we go to next week to get you ready for the pitch. We're going to be opening up the matchmaking next. And somebody
Well,
asked
are
a
we doing
question.
matchmaking next week, or are we gonna cover the pitch deck?
No, we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and do the pitch deck for now
Okay.
because they're moving forward with that. But
Okay.
just letting them know, for those that are kind of wondering, well, what am I supposed to be doing with the matchmaking? We're going to be covering that. We purposely held it off, first of all, to keep you on track, but second of all, because of Rick joining and the outreach that they're going to be doing to the advanced manufacturers. So we wanted to delay that portion as much as we could to benefit those that will be joining us in the matchmaking. Okay, well, I hope everyone makes a great weekend. And if you know of someone else, I'll continue to say, please share. It's not too late for others to join. For those of you that have been through this, you can see if you were to take each step and put them back to back, it might be a little overpowering, but they're fairly simplified, and it's one step at a time. And if you take it that way, then you can work through this fairly simply. Okay. Any other comments or questions before we go? I think hearing none, I think that means everybody can go. All right. Thank you, folks.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Oh, my nose. So anything else I need to do before this afternoon? Before 1?
No, but I have a couple questions for you.
Okay.
Hold on.